Hey everyone, my name is Cody King, and today I'm going to talk about how the seasons affect my artwork. And, you know, this may be a two-part video if I can figure out what I'm talking about. So, I just want to start off with saying that each season has its set of colors that I typically use. And these aren't like chosen colors that I've like concreted, carved in stone, and said that's what it's gonna be. It's the idea that each season is affecting me. Whereas spring makes me feel lively, it makes me want to use, bright colors, such as this painting here, which is done on the fourth month, sixth day of the 19th year. And then summer, which is this piece here, makes me feel, energized, live, colorful, ambiguous. Ambiguous may be the wrong word. Um, just lively and full of spirit, which turns out to these colors of like, brights, bold colors. And then fall is kind of like that season of thinking where, you know, it's starting to get cold out, so you gotta it's starting to get cold out and the days are starting to get shorter, so you gotta kind of think of what you're doing with your time and how you're using it, which is an example of this piece right here, where I'm using, that yellow is still there, but it's kind of moving into like harvest colors and then darker browns, and the spaces in between objects are becoming more defined. Whereas, in the fall where things are dying and you start to see in between the trees and you can see things that you couldn't see there in the summertime because of all the growth. And then you get to winter, which is this piece over here, and it's kind of this idea of, everything's dead and thinking is still there, the idea of thought is still there, but it's more of a reclusive thought, and you're trying to not only understand what you're doing with your time, but what you're going to be doing for next year's time. So spring of next year. And each season doesn't have their set color, I can use yellow throughout all these seasons and it'd still be yellow and it'd still be happy and it'd still be energetic. But the way I use yellow and the way I use the composition with yellow changes the idea of it. So, as you can see with the painting behind me, they're overlapping. The I don't know why I can't think of what they're called. The wheat is overlapping, just like the fields of wheat. They're overlapping and everything's growing everywhere. They may be in rows, but they're still growing everywhere. Whereas, in spring, things are just starting, so there's just that idea of one. If that, it's not necessarily one thing, but things are starting, like, there's a thing that pops up here, things pop up here, here, and then eventually, like, summer comes in and they overlap. And then it gets to the point of fall, which is this one, and things are starting to space out again, things are starting to, become more, dynamically entwined, but spaced. And then winter is the absolute nothingness of, everything's dead, and there's that idea of oneness again, which is that same idea of spring as oneness. And, not necessarily, each season does not have to be defined as these such things. Each season you may feel different. Just like, in summer we still get rainy days, and sometimes that rainy day brings sadness, and it makes us, go into this reclusive state of thinking, which is kind of the idea of fall, which is where it's cold, and it brings us into this idea of, thinking about what we're doing and all that. But with that in mind, I just want to say, like, my art may change throughout the seasons, but there's still remainders of each, each season in each art or each painting. And obviously, if I had more examples around me, it'd probably be a little more provident. It'd be more like out there, and you could see it. But each piece behind me, or with me in my greenhouse, contains yellow. Yellow is just that color that's always there in my art, and I like to use the idea of, what it isn't really what Van Gogh said, but it's some things that were said about Van Gogh, which is said that like he used to eat yellow paint to make himself feel happy, because by painting yellow it made him happy. So if he ate it inside, he'd feel happy as well. And I don't necessarily believe he ate yellow paint, but somewhere inside me I do believe that, because he was very mentally ill, and I understand I understand that idea of like the color yellow being happy, which is why I use it in a lot of my art, and which is why yellow stays in my art throughout the seasons. It's that idea that even though everything around me could be dead and dying, there's still this yellow paint and yellow spark, making me think positively, or making me think that good things are going on. Whereas wintertime wintertime is really a time where like we as humans, we don't hibernate, but we kind of go into a reclusive state of staying inside, or just going to the places we need to go, because going outside is cold and treacherous, and we don't want to freeze. But in that same way that summer is, everyone's outside and it's really hot, but there's still that same idea that we still go inside in summertime and hide. But with that in mind, that's what I'm talking about with like yellow. It carries over, it kind of stays, just like warm and cold stays. We just have different meanings for them throughout the seasons. And it doesn't matter exactly what that meaning is. It's more in the lines of how we as humans interpret that meaning throughout the season. Where I could sit here and make this video in summer again, and it could be a completely different video about how the summer affects me, and then, or the winter affected me, or stuff like that. Because each year is different. Each year brings its own sentiment or occurrence that changes our perception of how we feel about something. So if I want to talk about change, I probably should start talking about the painting that's over there, which is a self-portrait of myself from last winter, which it's a dark painting. In essence, it is a dark painting. It's a painting that symbolizes in myself sadness, melancholy, but also that yellow is a muse. And the reason why my skin is yellow in the painting is because it's that muse. It's a reminder that inside or outside I am happy, but inside it's still that melancholy feeling of like it's cold and I'm sad and I want cuddles. But and that's kind of carried over this right here, that yellow and dark colors. It's that ambiguous yellow that's there, it's prominent, it's but it's also passive, and then sorry, I'm not really sure like how to exactly explain how the seasons affect my artwork. It's more of like the feelings that come with each season, and how I pick up energies around me. Whereas I'm really clairvoyant, and everything has an energy. You may not know, but the things that happen for reasons. So the seasons affect me in ways that most people don't get affected by. Normal people, they go to their job and they go home and they go to bed and wake up again. And whereas I myself, I'll stay up all night and I'll read, I'll write poetry, and I'll think about what's going on and what isn't going on, or what should be going on. And throughout each season, them ideas and thoughts change. Whereas in the winter, I may think that things aren't moving as fast as I want them to be, or pieces of the puzzle that I'm trying to put together aren't coming together, or I don't have the right pieces. And then in the spring, when that comes, I may feel that I have all the pieces, but not the right pieces. I'm picking up all these ideas and trying to start new things, but they just don't, correspond. I have so much going on. Same thing in the summer. There's so much going on that now you have all the pieces and they're starting to fit together again, and necessarily not all of them fit together. So you may have 4 puzzles going on and trying to put all them all together, but you can't. And back to fall, whereas, it's that time of thinking, and, your puzzle pieces, your puzzles are almost complete, but now you're missing pieces again. And winter sharpens, now you're thinking about the pieces. What pieces do you need? And then spring starts again, and you're back to the same dilemma. I have so many pieces, and now I gotta put them all back together. Now, that's really complex, and that's, it's something really hard to understand, because in my head that doesn't make sense either, but it does make sense in a way. And it's kind of just talking about how, it doesn't necessarily mean how the seasons are affecting my artwork, it's how my ideas about the seasons are affecting my artwork. So I want to end this video here just so I can start another one, so it won't be really long. But thank you for watching this video. I know this video is really, all over the place, but hopefully my part 2 of this video will be more defined and more exact. I'm pretty sure that my next video is just going to be about like the summer and winter and how them 2 seasons affect, instead of this whole category of everything. But thank you very much for watching this video. My name is Cody King. Please like and subscribe to this video if you haven't already. But thank you so much for watching.